What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Ram Detecting. Well, today we're doing something a little bit different. We're at the museum of the Grand Prairie, Arkansas Grand Prairie, that is. And we're going to take you in here and show you some of the stuff they got and show you around a little bit. It's something I think you guys would enjoy. Something we've done before in the on the channel, visit a few museums. And I've got a little family ties to this place, so we're gonna get in here and see what they got. Some cool Native American stuff they got in here. So cool. See old grinding stones there. Something else we found a lot detecting there, some evolution of barbed wire there. It's kind of cool. So some of you may not know, Stuttgart is actually the rice and duck capital of the world. And this is showing some of the early irrigations. The fellow that actually painted that painting used to be a well, I wouldn't say co-worker. He retired before I started, but he always come in and would visit us up there at the place I worked. So that's kind of cool to see that painting in there. He's really, really talented. We see the old ways they used to irrigate the rice fields. It shows a little bit of the history here on rice. It's actual grains of the first rice grown here. That's pretty cool. Shows them threshing, the old threshing machines. It actually didn't have combines like they had nowadays. They just throw them in the old thresher machines, comes out. That's pretty neat. Also, soybeans is a big popular crop here, so. The old dope roll there. That's kind of cool. Some of the old musical instruments they had here. I like looking at pieces and parts and stuff because sometimes we can't identify things, and it's kind of cool to look at stuff and you know where it come from, like old lantern parts and stuff like that. So museums are a great resource for that. Oh, check that. It's old beaver pelt top hat. Really cool. This is a little example of an old homestead kitchen, but look at all the old ball jars up there. That's cool. I actually keep those and put my bullets in them that I find, Civil War bullets. So that's kind of sweet. So these are some old pictures of the pioneers of Stuttgart in the Grand Prairie area. It's going to show you guys a few things in here because it's pretty cool. I have some family ties to this. So this is something really cool. This is my great, I think, 3 generations back, grandmother and grandfather. These are the Fraunfelters. This is on my dad's mother's side, and they were one of the first families to move in this area. So it's kind of pretty cool to come here and see stuff like this. Little family history here. He actually died. I think he was in his 40s, and their oldest son would have been my great-great-grandfather, so that's kind of neat. It's pretty cool. Look at those old little baby shoes. So cool. You know, Sears and Roebuck, that's a wealth of knowledge there. So cool. Some old clay marbles in there. Check that out. There's a Bennington back there. You know, those are 1890s. So some jacks and all kinds of cool stuff in there. Here's some of the native animals we've got here. Possums and crows and geese and rabbits. Look at that beaver. Whew. Nice buck back there. It's a pretty cool display. Fox. We got a little bit of everything here in Arkansas. Look at that gray fox, I guess that would be. Boy, look at that. Whew. It's a big boy. We do have some bald eagles here. It's just kind of cool. This lady here is one of the founding women that kind of founded this museum, and she would be actually my grandmother's cousin, so that's kind of cool. Started this in the, I think they said the 70s, I'm not sure. But yeah, here's some more old oil lamps and things like that. We're gonna get back here and look at some of the other displays. They got all kinds of stuff. Being duck capital of the world, really duck hunting capital of the world. Flyways has changed a little bit, but call making is big here. It's just ingrained in the people that live here, so it's really cool to see all these old duck calls. I have a few of these, like old Yansons and stuff. Not a big duck hunter myself, but I really enjoy watching them. This is a shows all the old duck calling champions. And look up there, you see some Civil War items there. There's a Harper's Ferry 69 caliber right there in the middle. That's pretty cool. There's a 44 Colt up there. A bayonet to a Springfield. Isn't that neat? I didn't expect to see that walking back here. Oh, and looky here. A bunch of bullets there. I got some 69 calibers in there. That's pretty neat. So cool. This is some World War II stuff here. So cool. This is an actual coat and hat made up of duck feathers. That's kind of cool. So Stuttgart in World War II, there was a big airfield here. And they still kind of use it to this day, but they use it to, it's kind of like a airplane junkyard, so to speak. But it's pretty cool to see the history there. And there's a World War II uniform there. Oh, that's actually a veteran corps uniform, it says. But a lot of history here in this area. If you guys like World War II stuff, looks like an altimeter or something there. So neat. There's another uniform here. You find these Great Seal buttons all the time. So neat. I actually have a World War II, it was a medic uniform I got for $16. It was just a coat. $16 at a flea market one time. Still got it, thought it was really cool. Man, look at them boots. Stories some of this stuff can tell. Look at all these old plows, guys. Now I'm saying plow smack when we get all those old bullets. That's kind of what I mean. But you know, we got cultivators and discs. All this would have been horse drawn. But we can see parts and pieces that we find out in the fields. That's one thing I like about looking at this stuff. Oh, that's pretty cool. You guys like old tractors, Model A, John Deere there. That's a broadcast seeder. So they'd pull it, they'd put the seed back there, probably put bags of seed here, and probably be a person here dumping it in. They'd be pulling it around. Snow mowing. This is actually a tractor just like this. Was the first tractor I ever drove. So mowing down around Gillette, Arkansas. Old steel wheel. Now, Mr. Fred Stewart said some of their family members donated a tractor, I'm believing in them, the old T2 technicians, and he said it had steel wheels on it, so it might be something like this. Old Farmall. So cool. This is one of those thrashing machines like we were telling you a while ago. I showed you the picture. That's what this is. Isn't that neat? This monstrosity here would have been one of the first combines. You guys find some of these pieces and parts to these cutter bars sometimes, so they use them on hay equipment and they use them on combine cutters. So pretty cool. This car here, one of the ladies here, I guess one of the curators here, I was talking to her. This car was actually donated by one of my cousins, so that's pretty cool. Burkett family is the same line as my grandfather, great-great-grandfather and grandmother that I showed you the picture of earlier. Check this old Chevy out. Isn't that cool? We kind of find these pictures of stuff. I believe this is a Model A, is it? I'm not sure. Yeah, that's a Model A. Good old Model A. We find parts and pieces sometimes of these things. Check that out. That's an Oldsmobile. This is back in their kind of duck hunting exhibit they have here. It just kind of shows a little display of these ducks coming in. Over here looks like something cool. Looks like some old shotguns and stuff. This looks like some Native American pottery there. Check that out. That is really cool. I was talking to the lady a while ago. They said they didn't have very much Civil War stuff. They said they were planning on doing some kind of a display pretty soon. I told them if they need anything to display and I have it, I'd be happy to loan it out to them. Check out these old shotguns, man. Old pump gun there. Wow. So cool. Some things get wore out from spinning. They would have used something similar to that back in the Civil War times. So cool. This is one of the first lathes that they made duck calls out of. This is their duck call museum. I don't know if you guys are into ducks, but pretty cool checking them out anyway. Like I said, I'm not a big duck hunter, but I mean, growing up here, we kind of, you know, it's kind of ingrained in us. It's pretty cool. It's a camera. Edward Quinney's camera for the filming of Prairie Wings in 1947. That's pretty cool. More calls and duck stamps. Like I said, duck hunting is big here. There's some of the very first duck decoys.
Now they literally give you points to every duck. And it tells you what they are, what they do, when they come, when they go.
Some old duck calls. Rick and Tone, that's Mr. Butch's jacket, I bet. He's a pretty famous duck caller maker here in Stuttgart. Well, that's him right there, Mr. Butch. He's actually taught a ton of people how to duck call. So neat. All right, we made it back here to some more of the farming aspect of the museum now. These are prairie grasses. Out where I live, they grow prevalent. If you don't mow, it'll look like that for too long. But yeah, some old washing machines and a washboard. Really cool stuff, man. All the old soaps. Irons. We do find some irons sometimes out metal detecting. That's pretty cool. Pretty neat. Man, look at some of these bottles. My old buddy Brandon over at Antique Archaeology probably could tell us all about these things. I know a little bit, enough to be dangerous about them. That's about it. Stuttgart Bottling Company. That's pretty cool. I'd love to find old bottle from the Stuttgart Bottling Company. That's pretty cool. Old ball pens, different tools. Man, check that out. Was that one of the first footballs? Man. Old spark plugs. There's a radiator cap to a Model T tire chain. That's cool. That's an old Ford key, old Model T Ford key. See, we found this stuff. That's awesome. I actually found some chauffeur license tags one time. Get over here. This is a moonshine still. That's your tank. This will be where your worm would be, probably. Yep, right there where it'd be coming out. Legend has it that some of my family members did some of that in this general area. Not gonna name any names, but they're all dead now, so. A cotton planter, check that out. I guess they got a space so it'll come out just in time. Fortson. I've never heard of a Fortson, have you guys? Cost $485 in 1920. Check it out. Look at that old case. That's cool. 1922 case. Now, if you want me to, I can walk back there and look at some of the old saws and stuff like that. It's another old D John Deere. So neat. Big industry here. Look at all these old lanterns. Wouldn't it be cool to find old lantern glass like that? So cool. Man, check out that. That's a fish gig. Woo. Old chalk line, iron spike. Now it's hard to show you guys everything and it might be boring to you, so I'll show you a few more highlights, and then I think they got some displays outside we'll show you some of that. It'd be kind of cool. Also, I think there's a sewing machine back here that they said that was actually belonged to my great grandmother. So that'd be kind of cool to check that out. Check this wagon out, guys. I didn't realize they were this big. Wow. 200 years it says. Now, I'm not knowing all the history of this wagon. I think they got a little thing on there about it, but geez. When I think wagons, I think these little things like you see in Westerns. That is so cool. Kind of getting over here into the blacksmithing section. There's a like a sharpened stone, some blacksmith little forges here. Actually, have access to one of these. I might try to make some stuff one of these days. All these old blacksmithing tools. Stirrups over there. That's kind of neat. So cool. Look at the old square nails. So neat. We found some of those, don't we? Now this is a hand-operated cotton gin. It's a corn sheller. So cool. Wonder if this is the sewing machine that they were talking about. We'll get around there in a second and check that out. Be kind of new. It's a loom. So neat. Yep, this is the sewing machine, or one of them, 1883. Mr. and Mrs. Henry Fraunfelter. So that's pretty cool. Some of my family's clothes was made right here on that machine. Isn't that cool? Now, this is an old gas pump. Isn't that cool? And that was an oil pump. This is a little mock-up of what it looked like downtown. This is a little mercantile like that. Sweet. Man, check out all them old tools. So a little mock-up of a grocery store. So cool. Peanuts, huh? This is a doctor's office. Don't know what that is. Hope it does not get me. So it's pretty neat. That old wheelchair. I've got this door open. I don't want to, please do not touch, but it looks like a photography studio. Yeah. There's some old tin types over here we'll look at. So cool. They said that after the Civil Wars, when this place kind of picked up, people coming in, a lot of people that founded this area was what they would call carpetbaggers from back then. Oh, Roy Rogers. Here's some of the railroad stuff. What it kind of looked like back then. Looks like some oil cans, some old lamps and things of that nature. Little telegraph machines. Check it out. Really cool. Man, look at those blue lenses. So neat. Conductor hats. Really cool. It's pretty cool. Looks like the kids little toy shop in here. I think you can kind of get in here and look, but we're just gonna take a peek in here. There's the old guitar. Well, that's a Roy Rogers guitar. Isn't that cool? See the little, probably cast iron men down there. So neat. I guess this would have been the ladies' hat shop. So cool. Millinery. Man. Be cool if people wore stuff like this again nowadays. I just think it's neat. Well, if you get a little tight drinking some of that moonshine like how that still we showed you earlier, you might wind up in here. And I think this is the one of the original jails here. And this is it. A cot, still riveted. You ain't getting out of that, bud. Wow, so neat. I know I'm telling you what this stuff is. You guys probably know what it is. This is the post office. I guess this would have been back behind the post office. Postman's view of it, I guess. So cool. You buy your stamps. See how much your letters weighed. I guess that's what the first post office looks like. So neat. A quick run through here. This is some of the old, more of the old farm equipment. This is like a huller and different apparatuses for rice and beans and different things. Guess this would have been one of the first gatherers. And then they called that a binder, it says. I guess that's where they get combine at. The bind part. It's an old steam engine there. Wow, look at that thing. I think it's a steam engine. Maybe not. 1917, may not be steam. Yeah, now that definitely is an old steam engine there. Oh wow, look at that thing. What'd it be like to hear something like that run? What'd it be like to be able to throw the coal and stuff in that thing? These are the first tractors. Aren't that? Isn't that cool? Here's another, some examples of middle busters and plows that they have, horse-drawn stuff. It's a cotton gee whiz. So neat. All right, now we're out of the museum. We're gonna get out here and look at some of the old buildings they have. I remember going and looking at this stuff when I was a kid, so it's kind of cool to come back and check it out. So I'll get over here and show you guys what they look like. I'm not sure if we can go in. I'm not sure if we can go into any of these, but we'll check them out anyway. All right, this is the, as you can probably read, that's the fire station, 1897. Wow. I bet we can probably at least go in and peek in the doors and see what's up in there. Yeah, we can't go in, but looks like that was an old printing press in there. Check that out. See the old plates? I think this is the old fire truck. I don't know if you guys can even see that. Let me get around here. Sorry about that, guys. Maybe we can go over here and see it from this angle. Yeah, can't really see him there. Well, here's the old outhouse. G.R. Rex Jones. Check that out. Now this would have been one of the original schoolhouses here. I think most of this stuff was disassembled and brought here and reassembled kind of thing. Like I said, I'm not sure that you can go into any of these. We'll walk up and check, but I doubt it. Kind of says right there, this schoolhouse was given in memory of Mr. Frank Ernstine. Oh yeah, you can. Oh wow, this is so cool. Do not touch. Man, imagine this being your schoolhouse. Rules for teachers. So cool. Neat. Let's go up here and check it out. Had the old stove right in the middle of the schoolhouse. I wish you guys could smell in here. Check out the old blackboards. Pretty cool. Looks like they patched the floor with tops of soup cans or something. Roads and trails and historical places. Sorry, you guys probably couldn't see that. Bunch of the old readers and books. We still use a old pencil sharpener kind of like that. I guess this would have been the water bucket, huh? So cool. All right. All right, let's get out of here and go check out the rest of the buildings. But anyway, this is pretty neat. I guess this is one of the first old church houses. I don't know if we can go in that one, but we'll look. No, don't look like we can go in that one. It's cool we got to go in the old schoolyard. I guess that's the old school bell. This is, I'm not sure, maybe one of the old home places. We'll check it out. It says it's fragile, so we don't want to mess with it too much. I don't know if we're allowed to go in there, so we'll just stay our distance here. Yeah, sit on the front porch. So you can't really go in there, but that's cool. Looks like they got it kind of decked out inside. Go over here and check this out. It's like an old press or mill or something. Just got it in the weeds over here. Looks like you would probably attach your mule or something to that. Round and round. Yeah, it's a mill. That's what that was. A cane mill. Oh, sweet. So cool. And I guess over here you probably would take that cane sugar, and that's probably what this was. And heat it up, and that's how you'd get the sugar. I'm thinking. Don't know what else it would be. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you hadn't already, hit subscribe. And like I always say, guys, we'll see you next time. Bye.